Here's my Save the World Fortnite weapon review for the Steam Skewer Spear. One of you guys asked me if I was going to do a review on it, and of course, I am definitely going to do a review on it. It's a really good melee weapon. If you don't have a top tier sword like the Spectral Blade or the Guardian's Will, if you didn't get the Sir Lancelot, you definitely should get the Steam Skewer, because I just want to point out the Steam Skewer is way more superior than the Sir Lancelot in every single way. And I'm going to get a little bit in depth into this review for the Steam Skewer Spear, and the reason for that is because not a lot of people understand spears in Save the World and why these new stabby spears are not top tier melee material. But first, I'm going to talk about the Steam Skewer and what I've learned from using it within these past couple of days. It can dish out some pretty decent damage. The heavy attack that the Steam Skewer has is really good, okay? Not only is it good because it's very effective when there's a lot of husk around, it's also good because if you have a husk that's right in front of you, like a husky, and you use it, you can actually make that husky sort of flinch, right? And that's going to give you an opportunity to do some pretty decent damage to him. Last but not least, the secondary attack that the Steam Skewer has also has somewhat of a medium range, which means that you're gonna be able to, do some damage to husks that are pretty far away from a distance. Last but not least, actually, one last thing that I want to mention is you can continually use this secondary attack, and the reason why that's a good thing is because, let's say you use the secondary attack once, then the husks are like at a medium range of you. Long story short, you can use the secondary attack and you will still connect the hit, because the secondary attack has a lot of range, and that's why I really enjoy using the spear. But again, I don't really see this as a top tier melee weapon. My definition of a top tier melee weapon is a weapon that is good for every single encounter. A weapon that can adapt to multiple circumstances and you can have a lot of rolls with it as well. A top tier melee weapon is a weapon like the Spectral Blade or the Stabsworth III. The Steam Thrasher is also really good, because these types of weapon you don't really need to have a specific loadout that is going to maximize them. It's good if you do, but you don't really actually need it. But let's talk about some of the things that I didn't like about the Steam Skewer. Well, first of all, it has the stabby attack, an attack that focuses only on one target. So unlike the Steam Thrasher and things like the Spectral Blade, you're not going to be able to hit multiple husks at the same time, which means that at the rate that you're going to be killing husk is going to be slower than using a sword. Like, sometimes I was using the Steam Skewer and I was like, oh, okay, let me just switch to my Spectral Blade real quick. Let me switch to my Steam Thrasher Scythe, and I was like, oh, this is actually way more effective and faster. The stabby attack can do a lot of damage, but I rather have consistent fast damage than really big slow damage, okay? And that's why I think that these stabby spears like the Sir Lancelot and the Steam Skewer aren't top tier, and why I just never really see myself using them. Sure, it is really awesome and very satisfying to see those big numbers, but at the end of the day, if you're not being consistent and you're not killing a lot of husk very quickly, your base is just going to get overwhelmed. And let's face it, right? Let's not be delusional. Twine Peaks, it's filled with stupid players recently. Players that don't want to build. Players that don't want to build trap tunnels. So you need to make sure that you're killing as many husks as possible, as fast as possible. And this spear can actually somewhat do that, but it can't do it at the rate of a top tier melee weapon like the boy Stabsworth III. And you guys probably think that this Steam Skewer is trash, right? That I don't like it, that it's a terrible melee weapon. But no, not really. It's actually a really good melee weapon. I really enjoyed my time using it, and I was being extremely effective with this Steam Skewer. Shout out to my boy Benj also, because he gave me a Steam Skewer because I didn't want to like spend the gold to buy this weapon, because I thought it was going to be bad, and I ended up buying my very own Steam Skewer because yeah, I actually think that if I ever want to use a spear, it's going to be this one. If you know how to use your gadgets, if you know how to use your abilities, you're gonna be really effective with this spear. I did, however, wanted to point out some of the downsides of the stabby attack, and one of the reasons why I'm not really a huge fan of it. And yeah, just want to let you guys know, you know, if you just want an easy time in the end game, you shouldn't use this spear. You shouldn't use the Sir Lancelot because it requires you to be, you know, in synchronicity with your abilities. Look, simply put, it takes an experienced player to use a spear like the Steam Skewer. Anyways, last but not least, you're not really going to be able to sort of maximize this spear, I guess, unless you have a specific loadout for it, which is why I'm going to give the spear a 4 out of 5 stars, because it does the job that it's supposed to do. It's going to keep Husk at bay with a secondary attack, and you're going to finish them off very quickly with the primary attack. You're not going to be doing it extremely quickly like a Spectral Blade, and you're not going to be able to run this spear you know, unless and you know, be super effective with it unless you're running a hero or a loadout that makes this spear shine. But this spear is still going to be able to give you some general use. Oh yeah, recommended perks. So critical rating, put that up all the way up to legendary. Critical damage is going to help you out. If you want to put armor on the spear, go ahead and put that as well. You guys want to know what's the crazy part? The gameplay that you guys are seeing in the background, I'm using a 130 spear with blue and green perks, and this spear is still being a beast, okay? Oh, last but not least, I also want to point out, it's true that the stabby animation does a lot of damage, but again, it only hits one target, and I rather do moderate damage and hit multiple targets than a lot of damage and only hits one target. I had a lot of fun with this spear. I'm glad I gave it a chance. When the stabby spears came out, like the Sir Lancelot, I was like, why am I not able to hit multiple Husk, right? That was just really frustrating for me, which is why I gave the Sir Lancelot a 1 out of 5 star. I was wrong. I was very wrong, okay? I'm not really afraid to admit that. Which is why I might re-review the Sir Lancelot. I don't know, let me know if you guys are interested. But that's pretty much it. That's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I have a big Save the World project dropping either tomorrow or today. No, either tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Be on the lookout for it. You guys are gonna love it. See you all in the next one, and take care.